Hey YouTube, I'm Kenneth Ryan.
I'm Linz Resap.
And we're back with another exciting episode of Fanfiction Friday.
Soulmate Month.
Soulmate Month! Pew 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 pew! Actually,
pew.
it's more of like the rainbow sound that I've been trying to use. Anyways, we're back with the
sparkle noise.
third week of Soulmate Month, and this week we are reading
a non-smutty one-shot.
Yeah, a non-smutty one-shot from the Haikyuu fandom. It is a...
Volleyball, boys.
It is a fic titled A Rumor That Binds by Icey. In a world when you hear your soulmate's name, it inks itself across your skin. Yahaba would dearly love to trade his soulmate for a better model, because Kentaro?
Kentaro?
Kentaro,
I don't know.
Because Kentaro is nothing like what a soulmate should be.
Rude.
Bum, bum, bum! The important thing to note with this one is this is not smutty. So you can play this one around your family, probably.
If you want to
You can sit down.
Haikyuu fanfic.
You can sit down with Ma, Pa, Grandpa, and the kids.
Gram.
And you can turn this on and be like, guys, this is family entertainment this time around.
Okay.
Cool.
You want to start reading?
Sure. Yahaba glares at the name on his arm, which is stubbornly refusing to be scrubbed off of this new part of his morning ritual. Scrubbed off in this new part of his morning ritual.
Of glaring at his arm.
What? Oh, yep. I'm just dumb. He'll keep trying to remove it in days to come, even though it's been a month now and shows no sign of budging. It's marked him ever since someone rattled off the name within his earshot. Hey, did you hear that?
They can't understand what you're saying if you do that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I can't muffle myself. Let me lean back. Hey, did you hear? Kentaro got held back for killing a guy!
Okay, that sounds so true.
And it etched itself.
Oh, he got held back for killing a guy. No, he'd be in jail.
No, they just hold you back in Japan. It's a different country, different rules. And it
This is a volleyball anime, not some weird post-apocalyptic.
Maybe he killed him on the court, yo. like a b-boy.
Yeah.
And it etched itself onto his skin. Yahaba is sure there's been a mistake. You are not my soulmate, he hisses to the characters.
Rude.
It works like this. You hear your soulmate's name, see it written down, or anything lets you know that they exist.
That lets you know it exists.
Anything that lets you know they exist. And a mark appears on your skin. Nowadays, it's usually the name written, but before literacy was common, it could be a glyph that suggests it, or a symbol to connect the two of them.
Weird.
With populations booming, soulmates finding each other has become rarer and rarer.
Really?
And while Yahaba had vaguely considered spending some time after high school trying to find his, he knew in his heart that he couldn't be bothered. Soulmate pairs are happier, but it can be harder too. If things start to fall apart, you can't run away from a piece of yourself.
Sure you can.
Yeah, you do. You cut it off and you leave. He killed a guy, he'll kill you.
Yeah, okay.
But then the system went and screwed up. Because there's no way a guy, like Kiyotani, was the one who will make Yahaba feel complete. He gives his skin a final chance to stop lying, rubbing it over.
I thought I was gonna be Yahaba, but then you took him, but okay.
Oh no, I did!
That's fine.
You're right, I did!
It's fine. You just weren't sure you'd be able to pronounce his name, but it's fine.
No, it's fine, because it's Kiyotani. Yeah. I can say that. Rubbing it over with the scrubbing brush.
He's never gonna respond to him, call him by his first name, except, maybe once at, the very end, where it's somehow meaningful or something, I don't know.
Of course. It continues to read, Kiyotani Kentaro. The thing is, Yahaba doesn't know him. He knows of him, which is another thing entirely. Yahaba has seen him around a few times, once at volleyball practice where he stormed off like a thundercloud, and then occasionally around school. A blonde and black head in the crowd that sets Yahaba's heart pounding.
He's got, weird streaks in his hair. It's interesting.
Right, it looks like, from what I saw, it kind of looks like a bumblebee stripe, a little bit, because he's blonde, you know?
Yeah.
Ever since he heard Kiyotani's name, he's kept the dark ink on his skin covered. From the occasional question Watari has asked, he's worked out that Yahaba is hiding. or worked out what Yahaba is hiding, but he's too good a friend to ask whose name is etched on his skin. Today, though, Yahaba has decided that he's not going to hide it. The world can know, and finally discover that this system doesn't fucking work. Ooh, maybe don't play this around Graham. So, it's with his sleeves pushed up past his elbows that Yahaba exits his house and sets off to meet Watari at their usual corner where their streets meet. Watari's reaction to his rolled up sleeves is immediate and delighted.
I guess I can be him.
You probably should, yeah.
And then you'll be Oikawa, I guess, since
Sure.
he's the other pair of that minor pairing in the notes, in the tags or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I see? He asks, smile creating prominent dimples. Yahaba sighs but sticks his arm out.
It's not what you think, he says, because it's not.
I'll be the judge of that, Watari chirps and twists so he can see the name. His smile falls.
Yeah, Yahaba says. That look, but worse, is how Yahaba felt when he'd seen who his supposed soulmate is.
It could be a different... Watari starts, but Yahaba shakes his head.
You know another Kiyotani who got held back for killing someone? Watari cringes.
No, but I don't think that rumor is true. No shit, it's
No
not
shit!
True. Yahaba rolls his eyes and starts walking towards Aoba Josai. That's her school.
Oh, it's Yahaba saying this. That's why I didn't tell you. It's messed up. I mean, there's no way he's my soulmate. Watari keeps pace beside him, looking contemplative. Contemplative?
I don't know.
Contemplative?
Do you really believe that?
It can't be right all the time. Watari deflates further.
I guess not. I know Oikawa-senpai doesn't believe it.
Right. Exactly. And he's sensible when he's not full of bullshit.
So that's never. He's always full of bullshit. No, I'm kidding, but also...
And there's a little star.
A star.
That indicates we're somewhere else now.
I'll read then, I guess.
Yeah.
The rest of Yahaba's day is filled with question after question about the name on his arm, which is about what he expected.
Of course.
He tries to play nice, but by the end of it, he's about ready to blow his lid, and he hasn't even seen Kiyotani anywhere for the guy to confirm what bullshit this is. He's gonna have like a huge crush on you or something.
We'll see. I don't know.
No, he's not. Anyways. Close to the end of the day, Yahaba rolls his sleeve back down, which most people, correctly, take to mean he's closed for questions and doesn't want to hear more sighs about, I wish I knew my soulmate's name. He was always quick to correct those comments, letting them know that the system is fucked and the name on his skin is the wrong one. But that didn't stop the wistful gazes. You're, okay, very pessimistic here.
Yeah, he's just a negative Nelly here.
It's Monday, so there's no practice. Much to Yahaba's relief. He's itching for exercise, but the bustling volleyball team teasing him to death about being paired with Kiyotani, who's technically still a member of the team, would be too much. Of course, the universe seems to have taken an interest in Yahaba's life, specifically an interest in making sure it's interesting, except the I.
I was like, why is ing in italics?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yahaba would like it to stop, because at the gate, seemingly waiting for him, is the owner of the name etched onto his skin. Gasp. Yahaba halts, unsure of what to say to his not soulmate. Kiyotani doesn't seem to know what to say either, only locking eyes with him from under a scowl. Yahaba's pretty sure that's just his normal look, but it's still irritating, and he makes sure his own face is calm and smooth as he looks ever so slightly down at Kiyotani. It's you.
Well, he eventually asks. Kiyotani breaks his gaze away and yanks up the arm of his jersey, showing Yahaba's name inked on his skin.
How should he sound? Never heard your name before today. Yahaba snorts and begins walking.
Sorry, I'm not as famous as you. Kiyotani looks like he's about to say something for a second, but instead he falls into step behind Yahaba, keeping to his shadow and leaving his thoughts in his head. The silence itches at Yahaba as they continue down the street and on to the next, until Yahaba's options are to say something or explode. Dude, you just got nut, buddy. You just got a, peanut butter jelly. Ha ha.
Time.
It's got nut in. It's funny. He chooses to say something. It's not right. I mean, I don't believe it. How could you be my soulmate, you know? Kiyotani grunts. Yahaba doesn't know whether it's actual agreement or just acknowledgement that he spoke. No offense, but we're total opposites. The rumor about you killing a guy probably isn't true, but you're...
that to his face. It's probably not true that you killed a guy.
It's probably not true.
Because you'd totally be in school if you did.
Yahaba tries to find the right adjective, but none springs to mind, so he settles for a shrug. We're nothing alike.
Guess not. That lost the growl voter, Kiyotani says, and they stay silent for the rest of the walk. They don't wave to each other as they part. Kiyotani peels off down another street, and Yahaba touches the name on his arm as he watches his back disappear. So Kiyotani totally believes in soulmate stuff and was waiting his entire life.
Oh my god, yeah, this is like his heart is broken.
No, I doubt it, but not really his personality, honestly.
Well, yeah, but this could be... It's a fanfic. You can do whatever you want with the canon in a fanfic.
Yeah, that's true.
They avoid each other, more or less, for a year. Oh my god. Time jump. But all good things come to an end, and an awful lot of them end at the hand of Oikawa Toru. And an awful lot of them end at the end of the hand of Oikawa Toru. Oikawa has lots of different ways he likes to approach problems, and all of them result in fun for him and a nightmare for everyone else. Yahaba thinks it's mostly a profitable nightmare, and the problems get solved, but it always feels vaguely like the mental version of a dislocated joint being popped back into place, so it's painful? Like it's mentally painful? And then relieving. Okay.
I guess.
The problem Oikawa wanted to fix was the team's power, which is high, but there's always more to be had. He mentioned it at one of the regulars' discussions, and no one thought anything of his comment until Kiyotani stepped through the doors of the gym once again. Usually, when Yahaba gets mad, he goes cold. His mind goes crisp and clean, and the words he wants to say fall out devastating the person he directs them at, whether he should say them or not. Kiyotani makes him go hot instead. Ooh, buddy.
Are we sure this isn't smutty?
Oh, buddy, if he's making you hot in the loins, time to gird him, you know what I'm saying? He's noticed it when they pass each other in hallways, and he's discovered himself a second away from snapping at him to watch where he's going.
Why? You're passing each other in the hallways and you haven't talked to him in a year. Why does he make you mad? Just because you don't like him?
Because he's hot.
You don't believe he should be your soulmate or whatever.
The only thing that stops him from doing just that on those occasions is the knowledge that what he really wants to do is check to see whether Kiyotani's mark is still as visible as his own. Oh, so you're just still bitter that he's your soulmate. Just fuck him. Have some hate sex. That's a common fanfiction thing, isn't it?
True, yes.
Just do some hate sex. This time, his temper doesn't hold. Uh-oh. Volleyball practice has become his space. He's not a great player, but he's improving along with all the others, and he can't ignore the fact that he's the pick for captain after Oikawa graduates, even if he denies it when asked. So seeing Kiyotani strolling back in like nothing happened is a giant punch to the gut. It's like Kiyotani has forgotten the reason they don't acknowledge each other.
Stop being so stuck up.
Yeah, Yahaba, you're kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Hey, Yahaba snaps. If you're going to show up after all this time, the least you can do is greet us properly. He doesn't even have Kiyotani's name covered during practice, and having it out in the open with Kiyotani right there is a vulnerability he could do without. But he can't keep his jersey on all practice in the summer. Oh, so he's got his sexy abdominals showing? Is that what I should be assuming? They're playing
on his arm though.
They're playing skins and shirts,
So
shirts and skins.
His volleyball jersey wouldn't cover his arm, except unless it's like on his shoulder.
I don't know where it is. I guess it is on his arm because he's been scrubbing it.
And he said he was glaring at it, so.
Huh.
Unless he's saying
maybe he wears like
a long sleeve shirt on underneath his shirt.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. But his like sexy glistening abs are showing right now.
Okay.
Oikawa steps in before Yahaba can say anything more. He's pleased to see Kiyotani even if no one else is, and Yahaba can hardly overrule the captain. So he steps back and lets practice continue, though he keeps casting glances towards Kiyotani when he thinks he won't be caught.
Kindaichi.
Kindaichi asks
Daichi. Daichi.
Kinda Chi.
Kinda
itchy. Asks about Kiyotani during their break, and Yahaba explains, which is fine until he catches Kinda Itchy staring at his arm. You can be this fuck. I don't even know who it is.
He's your Kindaichi begins, but Yahaba cuts him off, ignoring the way his stomach flips.
It's just a mark, okay? It's the wrong name, he says, hoping that Kinda Itchy's gullibility will hold for things that are true but sound fake. Like it does for everything that Kunimi makes him believe. That happens sometimes. We're not soulmates.
Yeah,
He catches Kiyotani's gaze. Kiyotani breaks away before Yahaba does. And he's a wuss.
What? No, he's not. He got held back for killing a guy.
No, he's a wuss. Fuck it. Oh my god. Kinda Itchy doesn't look entirely like he believes him. No, this is my joke for the fic.
Okay.
But their break is over and it's all they can do to keep up for the rest of practice.
Line break. Kiyotani becomes a regular fixture at practice. The prodigal son returned, Matsukawa calls him with an amused glance at Yahaba that he wishes he hadn't seen. He's awful, and more than once Yahaba splits off from practice to keep his temper in check after Kiyotani jumps into another player. Yeah, he does that.
Oh?
He's very enthusiastic.
Ah, I see.
Competitive. Wants to be the one making the hits, I don't know. He takes himself on a run to build stamina, even though stamina isn't the skill he needs to work on. He'd mumbled something half-hearted and fake about preparing for the next year when he'll probably be a starter. And while they narrowed their eyes, the coaches had agreed to let him, eyes lingering on his arm a fraction too long. He always makes it back before the end for Oikawa's ridiculous comments that nonetheless get the team's spirits up and ready for the next practice, as well as offering things to work on. Today, Oikawa waves everyone else off, but catches Yahaba by his wrist before he can go with them. Yahaba stiffens. He doesn't like people touching that arm. Or the rest of him, really. But particularly there. And you're gonna be both of these characters. Yay!
Oh, I'm okay. I'm Oikawa?
Because I said I was gonna be Watari.
Oh, okay, alright. So this is like the peppy leader.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Sorry, Yahaba! I just thought we should talk! Oikawa says, full of cheer, as he gently releases his grip on Yahaba. Yahaba swallows and agrees before he can come up with an excuse that would let him leave. Now...
This is Oikawa still.
Now, it seems to me like you're avoiding a certain member of our team. Yahaba opens his mouth, but Oikawa cuts in before he can speak. Don't give me that! I know what's between the two of you, and it doesn't mean you have to act like you're not on the same side! It's a small favor that Oikawa doesn't use the word soulmate outright, but Yahaba's jaw still clenches. I'm going to need the two of you to work together, Oikawa says, then continues. And next year, you are going to need the two of you to work together. I followed that correctly.
Yes, you did.
Which means that you're going to be teaming up next practice. No way. We can... Yahaba begins, but Oikawa talks over him. You're going to be quite the powerful combination, and I'm not going to let your little problem stop that, Yahaba! Sounds like erectile dysfunction. Yahaba gapes. My little what? Problem! Oikawa repeats. The one printed on your arm there! Or, I suppose, there's the cute one jumping up and down in the court, too! Don't worry, you're not the only one with the wrong mark! Anyone can see that me and my darling Iwa-chan are meant to be together, and yet... Oikawa gestures at his own empty arm. My soul isn't with the program! Watari had said that Oikawa doesn't believe in soulmates, but Yahaba didn't realize he was telling the truth and not just trying to make Yahaba feel better.
Wait, so who is that paired with? I thought it was Watari, but
No.
apparently not, because if they're on the same team, so he would have heard his name, so he
Right.
has an empty...
I don't know.
Huh.
Do you really think there are exceptions and it gets it wrong sometimes, senpai? Oikawa hums. Which isn't a real answer, but Yahaba takes it to mean yes. Just don't be surprised surprised when you have to talk to him tomorrow. I'll be very disappointed if you keep running away, he says, and gives Yahaba a grin with no warmth as he waves and leaves the gym.
Okay. Working with Kiyotani is hell. Yahaba knows most of it is his own doing, so he can't even complain to Watari about it. Besides, Watari is looking... Watari? is looking scattered and stressed under the greater workload of second year, so Yahaba doesn't want to bother him too much, though he keeps himself together better during practice than Yahaba does.
Is this Yahaba?
Yeah.
Stop jumping wherever you want. This isn't your playground, asshole. He shouts at Kiyotani. This isn't the first time he's tried to force this point home, and he's sure it won't be the last. Kiyotani avoids his eyes, and Yahaba reflexively grips his own arm over Kiyotani's name to hide it from view.
I scored, didn't I? Kiyotani grumbles.
With no defenders, if something happens to get you on the court, you're going to be up against 6 people, and that little move won't cut it.
You know that? Kiyotani asks, his scowl running deep. Yahaba tries to keep his volume under control before Oikawa sends over Iwaizumi to see what the problem is.
Yes, I do. Because I watch official matches, which I don't believe I've ever seen you do.
Suppose it's impossible for you to run away from everything, Kiyotani says, and pushes back Yahaba towards the changing room.
Oh.
Past Yahaba towards the changing room.
Okay.
Yahaba stands stock still as he tries to process what the hell Kiyotani meant by that, but he's interrupted before he can by one of the coaches calling him back to work. Line break.
The next time they really see each other is at the tournament, and it's a day Yahaba both wants to preserve forever and shatter into a million pieces. Until then, Oikawa and the other third years formed their very own Keep the Soulmates from Killing Each Other club, dubbed such by Matsukawa, who, shortly afterwards, received a cicada in his gym clothes. They all make sure the two of them stay as far apart as possible at all times. He'd approached Matsukawa about it directly, but all he got back was a shrug and a comment about caring about them, which Yahaba thinks means they really must be as bad for each other as he imagined. During the match, Kiyotani seems to always be in his sightline, rocking backward and forward, balling his hands into fists and releasing them. Yahaba itches to grip his wrists and tell him to unclench, because Yahaba can't be the only one distracted by the constant movements. The whistle blows, and Kiyotani is put on before Yahaba can do anything about it. Tell anyone about how stupid that idea is. Kiyotani isn't a part of the team yet. He doesn't belong and should be kept off until he does. Yahaba, you're such a dick.
I mean, he didn't go to practice for like a long time.
Yeah, well, that's because he killed someone. He's like Easter Dave.
Yeah.
You don't want to owe Easter Dave a favor. You think fanfiction of 50% off exists?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. We should read one of those.
Okay.
Yahaba barely thinks he belongs himself. He finds his hand gripping Kiyotani's name and releases it, though he leaves indents where his nails were pressing into his skin. He watches Kiyotani play with all the concentration he possesses. Though Kiyotani's bubbling anger is fueling his own, he keeps himself from yelling while the match continues, even managing to make reasonable comments on what's happening. Not through. Sorry, I thought it was through and I was like, oh gosh. Though his frayed nerves would be obvious to anyone observing him closely. Kiyotani stays on throughout most of the second set and into the third. Yahaba doesn't know how Oikawa and the rest of the team is allowing him to stay because it's obvious that while Kiyotani is flipping the scoreboard in Aoba Josai's favor more and more, his control will break before the match is over. Kiyotani's suddenly full of energy whenever he's in the front row, Yahaba says to Kunimi. He doesn't mean it as a good thing. When the tide of the game turns to Karasuno's favor, with the danger of losing their senpai's last match dangling over Yahaba, Kiyotani, and their teammates' heads, Kiyotani's temper gets him pulled off. Yahaba hears him say, yeah, just do it. Just go.
And then he speaks before he can remember that he was going to keep his mouth shut. He talks calmly to Kiyotani. He'd be proud of himself for it, but he can feel his anger bubbling up. And with a shrug, after he said the rational part of his piece, he's given in to his urge to get his hands on Kiyotani and slams him against the nearest wall.
Bang! If you drag the senpai's big moment through the mud, I'll never forgive you. Fire burns in his throat with the words. They hold steady for a moment, and Yahaba tries to ignore the way his anger is dropping out of him just from being in contact with Kiyotani. He sees Kiyotani's eyes dart to his own name on Yahaba's arm, and then down to where Yahaba's is printed on his more tanned skin.
I thought you were a more shallow guy, he says, as Yahaba drops him. Yahaba shrugs.
I can't help that I have a boner now. That's not dialogue, that's just a little joke between you and me. You're not wrong about that. No one who isn't shallow could have done what he did to his soulmate. I respect our senpai. On the court, every point gained or lost belongs to the team as a whole. He makes sure Kiyotani can't see his face as he finishes. Please, lend them your strength.
The heck?
Goku, he's creating the spirit bomb. Give him your energy, people of the world. Woo! Actually, that's making me think of the fucking post where he's superimposed in a King of the Hill screenshot. It's like, God damn it, Peggy, where's my ladder? That boy Goku's up there creating a spirit bomb, and I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good meme. Okay. He feels Kiyotani nod and settle into his place on the line, more rational than he was when they left the court. He's sent back on, like everyone watching must have known he would be, and he plays better. So much better. Yahaba yells, but for the first time it's in congratulations for a great point. He thinks he catches Kiyotani's eyes flick to him before he's looking back to Oikawa as he says something. Yahaba can't be sure, but he thinks he sees Kiyotani reply to Oikawa, which is another first. Yahaba gets on the court as well. He was itching for the chance, but it's still a surprise that the coaches hand him the number 12 paddle and tell him he'll be taking Kinda Itchy's place on the next rotation. Kinda Itchy's fingers brush against the tips of Yahaba's as he hands over the paddle, and Yahaba thinks Kiyotani might say something along with the transfer. But if he did, Yahaba wasn't listening, or his heart hammering in his ears drowned it out. He serves with his heart still lodged somewhere under his tongue, thankfully managing to keep his face controlled and breathing steady despite his nerves. He thinks this must be what the others feel like every time they step on the court. This feeling of stepping over that line and having the expectations of the spectators, the coaches, and his team settle on his shoulders will exhilarate and terrify him no matter how many times he gets to play. A messy receive leads to the ball flying over Yahaba's head, and at Oikawa's call, he jumps! I'm trying to make this as exciting and action-packed as I can. He tosses the ball to Kiyotani without hesitation. He knows where he is behind him on the court, but perhaps it's that knowledge, or maybe just his nerves, that leads him to fumbling the ball and sending the toss up short.
No.
Kiyotani makes it. Yahaba doesn't know how, but he does. He leaps up, and his hand slams into the ball, and faster than a blink, it's bouncing off Karasuno's side of the court. Yahaba yells! This is what they wanted. This is what they needed, and Kiyotani delivered. He hit his toss, and they have a chance here. Yahaba won't have any regrets from this match. He can't imagine their senpais will either. He raises his hands for a high five, and for a second it looks like Kiyotani will turn away, move back to his position for the next point, but he locks eyes with Yahaba and matches his motion, bringing their hands together in a slap. I hope that registered. In the end, their team steps off the court, defeated. Oh no! Why did they lose?
Karasuno is the main characters in this manga, and they win.
Oh.
So of course. Oh. I mean, sometimes but Josiah's beat them. It's a really loud noise. It
was me shouting, why didn't they win? I spiked the audio so bad.
They're actually following in the manga, I guess.
Okay.
Instead of just making them win randomly, even though they could have.
Yahaba feels like he's turned to stone. As their coach talks to them, tells them to grow from this. He might have imagined it, but Yahaba thinks he looked from Yahaba to Kiyotani and back. Kiyotani's name on his skin feels like a brand. Yahaba wonders if his name feels the same on Kiyotani's.
They don't see each other for a week after the post-match ramen, where Kiyotani bolted his food and left before Yahaba could get a word in. But this time, it's not out of avoidance. Practice exams are soon, and club activities were called to a halt, because apparently only people as obsessive as Oikawa can balance getting top marks and going full force in club activities.
Well, yeah, that's really hard to do, so makes
when
sense.
It became obvious how much catching up he had to do, parentheses, not as much as he'd feared, but still more than he's comfortable with, end parentheses, Yahaba called Watari and bundled him into his apartment, then his room, with a cup of tea and all their study materials. Watari works well as a study partner. They're in different classes, but enough of their material overlaps that they can help each other out, and just having a second opinion is useful for the rest.
So, algebra is ridiculous, Yahaba says, staring at what are supposed to be solvable problems, but he can't make heads or tails of. But that he can't make heads or tails of. Watari doesn't reply, so Yahaba pokes him under the table. He jerks upright and falls back. There's something not quite right with how he grips his arm as he blurts out,
"Sorry, what were you saying?" Yahaba frowns and moves around to get a better look.
"If you've given yourself RSI from studying, I'm going
RSI?
to..." Yahaba falls silent when he realizes what he's seeing. Peeking out from between Watari's fingers is ink on his skin. "You didn't, Yahaba starts.
"It's not what you think," Watari says, prompting a moment of deja vu from Yahaba. He's turning pink across his entire head. "It's Oikawa-san, and you know he..."
"Doesn't believe in soulmates." Yahaba finishes for him, because from the sound of Watari's voice, he couldn't for himself.
"I just forgot to put the cover on today," Watari says, and swallows. "Every day since the second day of high school, and I forget today." He sounds weak and defeated. They don't get much studying done after that.
Because they are boning, because they both feel like their soulmates will never love them.
Okay.
Well, Watari remembers to keep Oikawa's name covered now. Yahaba sometimes catches him tracing the kanji on the surface of the near-invisible cover. And now that he knows to look, he notices tells from Oikawa as well. Oikawa sends Watari glances when he doesn't think Watari is looking. They linger and always find him immediately. Like Oikawa already knew where he was before he moved his eyes. They're the same kind of glance that Yahaba gives Kiyotani.
So are they saying that Oikawa didn't know that he had his name? Isn't he in the volleyball club too? Hasn't Oikawa heard or seen his full name before this point?
Homie, I have no fucking clue.
Because it said his arm was blank earlier.
Right, well maybe this is a recent revelation for him.
But he hasn't heard Watari's name being
I guess not.
Or
seen it in writing? Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Plot hole.
Unless it's like it's a one-sided soulmate bond thing.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. But they didn't establish that.
Yeah.
Yahaba and Kiyotani talk more than shout now, and Yahaba makes an effort to say one thing that can't be taken as an insult to him each practice, an attempt at following Oikawa's instruction not to run away. Oikawa is in one of his moods today, flitting about the players, offering accurate but irritating words. By the end of practice, Kiyotani's clenching and unclenching his fists in frustration as Oikawa gives his closing words. He dismisses the team with a clap and a declaration that he'll be seeing them again tomorrow. Yahaba lets out a breath of a laugh. If Iwazumi-senpai doesn't bury his body too deep to make it on time, he says under his breath to Kiyotani, because the storm club above Iwazumi's head is almost visible. So Kiyotani must have seen it too. He always seems to know what Iwazumi's up to.
It's the only person he respects in life.
But before Yahaba knows what's happening, Kiyotani has his previously tense hands in front of his face, smoldering a laugh.
He better dump him in the ocean instead.
Oh, murder jokes! Because remember when we thought a year ago that you were held back because you killed someone? Oh, good times.
Yeah. A smile takes over Yahaba's face without his permission, and it stays there for the rest of the night. He feels stupid that it took Kiyotani laughing for him to consider that maybe the name on his arms is the right one after all. But he is considering that Kiyotani is his, and he is Kiyotani's.
Oh.
And he's rapidly becoming accustomed to the idea, even fond. But he doesn't know how Kiyotani feels about it. He figures he owes him an apology before he does anything else. Good idea. And also, this is something you should have talked about before deciding, hey...
Before a year of silence?
Before it being just, like, the first time you're talking to him, oh, this is clearly wrong.
Right?
There's a rumor that you killed someone. This is clearly wrong.
This is clearly a mistake. You couldn't possibly... Like, oh, that's real nice.
We're so different.
You're starting this relationship off on the right foot.
And he's like, okay, bye.
Yikes.
Let's not talk to each other for like a year, basically.
Yeah, basically. They were like, okay, fine, fuck it, we're not gonna talk, whatever. Kiyotani is up on the roof when Yahaba finds him. He fights down a smile at the sight, because, well, it's typical delinquent behavior to hang out up here. Kiyotani has his schoolwork spread out around him, items from his bag placed to keep everything from blowing away, and he's tossing out crumbs to the pigeons and sparrows that lurk on the roof, with his head bent over one of his books. Yahaba peeks at the work he's doing. Kiyotani's handwriting is tidy, and even in a way Yahaba would never have expected. Kiyotani's shoulders hunch, and his pencil stills.
What do you want? He asks, not looking up at Yahaba. If Yahaba didn't hear the words, he'd never have known he spoke. Okay.
Oh?
Yahaba tilts his head absently to try and get a kink out of his neck that's been lurking there too long.
Is the kink bondage? No, he's into vor.
Asphyxiation.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
I don't know about auto, because that means by yourself.
Well, yeah.
So just erotic asphyxiation.
Erotic asphyxiation. I'm not too sure, he says in a fit of honesty. He takes a chance and pushes some sheets with Kiyotani's metal pencil case on top so he has a space to sit beside him. Kiyotani eyes him with suspicion, but doesn't attempt to pull away, only returning to writing the rest of his sentence. Yahaba turns possible things to say over in his mind. He wants to make that apology, and now is the perfect time to give it, but he can't put his finger on the words he needs. Kiyotani finishes his page and closes the book, putting his pencil down beside it.
Just spit it out. Yahaba bristles.
What exactly am I spitting out? Kiyotani snorts.
Whatever's fucking bugging you, obviously. He shouldn't be surprised Kiyotani can read him like this, but he is. He doesn't have a handle on anything these days.
I'm sorry, he says, before he can change his mind. I've been an ass to you. Kiyotani snorts again.
No kidding. His simple confirmation hits harder than Yahaba thought it would, and he sags against his side, head resting on Kiyotani's rounded shoulder.
I'm so fucking sorry, he says, to reiterate his point. Kiyotani stiffens. Boing!
In the pants.
Under his weight, but he doesn't move. Yahaba measures out a minute in even breaths until he has the courage to voice what he knows. You are my soulmate, he says. His mouth feels dry and his ears are tightening like they do when he's getting a sinus infection or like when he's holding down tears. And I'm sorry. Kiyotani looks at him out of the corner of his eye until he brings an arm up and wraps it around Yahaba's shoulder. It's the most comforting thing in the world.
Awkward shoulder pat. Soke. Soke! He says.
Sosuke!
And all the tension that had been building up in Yahaba's body slips out. Kiyotani lifts Yahaba's hand up, and Yahaba lets him, and he matches their names together as he leans in for a kiss. Their first kiss isn't perfect. Kiyotani has too many teeth, and they can't decide whether to use tongue, so spit seems to end up every... Ew!
Oh no, y'all need to establish
the second
that.
Will be better, and then the third will be better than that. He kinda can't wait. The end.
Oh! What a way to end. Alright.
With their first kiss.
With their... Oh, that's cute. Oh, and we thank you for leaving kudos. Us and a bunch of people and 220 guests have left kudos.
332 users plus the people in that list plus 200.
Yeah, this one has a total of 601 kudos.
Nice.
I think it deserves that. It was a cute little story.
I'm gonna read the 601st. Did it have 600 before that, or has it not updated yet?
I don't know.
602.
Well, I mean, the easiest way to check that is let's refresh. So we were the 602nd.
Hey, June 2nd.
Yay! My birthday? Wow. This was published on Christmas Day 3 years ago. Neat. So this was a rumor that binds a Soulmate fanfic for teen and up audiences. So a little bit different than what we normally read on the show, but it was cute.
I mean, we've done other things kind of like this before.
True. So yeah, play this around your family, obviously. Because, like, wouldn't your family love a 40-minute basically love podcast around Thanksgiving? In fact, this is coming out the day after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, what?
I mean, Valentine's Day.
I'm like, this is February.
What? Wow, alright. Valentine's Day. Y'all knew what I meant. I don't normally celebrate Valentine's Day, so I'm thinking of the better holiday.
Hashtag Singles Awareness Day or whatever.
Oh, for surezies. Yeah, what do you think? I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It was so just kind of like, it was fun.
They didn't have any, like, things that they repeated often that I usually notice.
There was no Welst.
Welst. I mean, sure, it's a one-shot, so I guess if there was more chapters, we might pick up on their patterns of
wordage.
Speaking. But yeah, it was cute.
It was cute, yeah.
It's a pairing I've read for before.
I need to add this to my list of things that I watch so that I can be familiar with more of the fandoms we interact with on Fanfiction Friday. Because there's a lot that we read that I'm like, I don't really fully know what this is.
I mean, there's been ones that we've read that I have too, I think.
That's true.
But also not that many, because...
I feel like maybe, perhaps... we just need to be more cultured collectively as a universe.
Yeah, we need more culture.
Everyone, viewers, hosts, we all need more culture
in gay
erotica. Yeah, so that was A Rumor That Binds by Icey. If you liked the fic, be sure to give the video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. We have Fanfiction Fridays coming out every Friday. And next week, we will be doing the final fic of Soulmate Month. So that's pretty exciting. You don't want to miss it, so definitely subscribe and hit that little bell. If you have a fic that you would like us to read on the show, please leave it in the comments down below. We will absolutely check it out. And as long as it's not, like, horribly disgusting or offensive, like, there's a good chance we'll read it on the show. Yeah. So, like, certainly feel free to leave us suggestions.
It can be super long and we might hate it. You can...
Clockwork?
Yeah.
You guys should stay super awesome and read more smut. Goodbye.
Sudden ASMR.